The headlines tonight. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and his delegation are back to Addis Ababa. Unjust economic order in the globe spoils the peace and security issues in Africa. Hello there, welcome to ETV News. I'm Grum Tariku. The National Security and Anti-Terror Task Force expressed concern over security threats hanging over the Ethiopian cloud in connection with the schism within the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church, underlining the need to resolve the crisis within the age-old church only through dialogue. It nevertheless warned any one of the groups within the church or their followers from holding the planned demonstrations scheduled for next Sunday. The task force said the 10-point tone of agitation from both groups within the church reeks of hate, adding any demonstration held in such an aggravated spirit would only play out in the worst possible way. It thus warned the faithful, the church synod or anyone else from holding the demonstrations, adding it will take stern measures should any group violate this warning. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed held discussions with senior government officials this afternoon on current affairs of the country. It is to be recalled that the Premier and his delegation have returned to Addis Ababa today, concluding a successful working visit to Europe. After a successful working trip to Europe, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and his delegation are back to Addis Ababa. During his official stay in Europe, the Premier held productive discussions on ways of bolstering cooperation in trade, investment, tourism, shipping, logistics and security with other senior officials. Kasaun Chane has more on this.
The visit of the Prime Minister is claimed to have a tantamount importance to further strengthening ties between Europe and Ethiopia, besides it would lead to greater economic gains. Discussing on bilateral issues, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and his Italian counterpart Giorgia Meloni signed a cooperation framework agreement. Talking to BBC, Finance Minister Ahmed Shide Assad, France has expressed its determination to accelerate Ethiopia's debt relief process on the basis of the G20.
The Italian government, on behalf of the IMF and the World Bank, has already pledged future support to Ethiopia. Discussions were also held with various giant organizations to strengthen the nation's commitment to the rehabilitation and reconstruction process in the war-torn regions, as well as to work towards stabilizing areas, particularly in relation to the signed peace agreement reached between the government of Ethiopia and TPLF.
Government Communication Service Minister Legesse Tulu also said the delegation led by the Premier to Europe was very productive to take good lessons in a field of multilateral cooperation.
Following a successful visit to Italy, Prime Minister Abiy paid a visit to Malta and had a very productive discussion with the Prime Minister of Malta. The discussion largely focused on how to boost bilateral relations between the two countries. Ethiopia is ready to take good lessons from Malta's experience, particularly in tourism, logistics and maritime transport, among others.
እና በሌሎች ተግባሮች በጣም ብዙ ልምድ ያላት ሀገር ነች።
The financial agreement is said to be vital for economic development, especially for major activities in the fields of agriculture and industry, provision of basic health services and education, among others.
In a related development, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and his delegation have returned to Addis Ababa after completing a successful tour in Europe. As part of his visit to Europe, the Prime Minister and his delegation met with President Emmanuel Macron in Paris, France. The Premier reiterated that the relation between the two countries is in progress and building confidence and translated into strengthened economic outcomes. Mamoun Muratu, who is governor of the Ethiopian National Bank, attended the consultation, told the EBC that Ethiopia has a strong relationship with France.
There is a very strong and long-standing bilateral relation between Ethiopia and France, which this particularly has created a good opportunity to achieve the national interests of the two countries, which we say Ethiopia's relations with France is exemplary.
Mamo also stated that the consultation between the two leaders was effective, adding that the discussion had a significant role in strengthening economic cooperation between the two countries.
Economic cooperation was the prime attention of the discussions. When the Prime Minister went to France back in 2018, one of the issues raised was to encourage French companies to invest in Ethiopia. At the time, 25 companies planned to invest in Ethiopia. Surprisingly, this year, there are more than 50 French anchor companies doing business in Ethiopia. Therefore, senior government officials of Ethiopia also held fruitful discussion with these companies.
The foreign ministers of Germany and France have expressed keenness to reinforce bilateral ties of their respective countries with
both ministers of France and Germany. They have great concern.
The Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed leaves no stones unturned.
Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and First Lady Zinash Tayacho hosted a Christmas luncheon
in laboratories in Tanzania and Nairobi.
And Yalen's travels, according to PBS News Hour, will take her from business incubators for entrepreneurs in Senegal.
Today, we welcomed the newly appointed Chinese Foreign Minister, King Gang.
It's a unique and spectacular ceremony that must be preserved.
And the people are coming and showing their interest about how to celebrate Epiphany.
You stick around, and I just don't know why. Cause if I was your man, baby, you'd never.
Unity is bringing the people and the nation together, Ham, Sham and Japhet, in a Andy Lai.
I know you smell the perfume, the makeup on the shirt.
I would give my love and great thanks to His Imperial Majesty, who we call the King of Israel.
And if I give you my heart, I promise you'll be gentle, cause I've been feeling lonely.
Haile Selassie is the reason why we're here, because of the leadership, the youth to the whole world.
Marks of a flying bird.
Right now we're in Ethiopia, Addis Ababa. Here we should equally celebrate his music.
Bob Marley, you know, he became Haile Selassie, you know, and he's one of the few people who really celebrated and embraced the Ethiopian culture.
Explore Ethiopia special program that has been bringing you the significance and the 78th birthday of Bob Marley that has been celebrated here in the capital Addis Ababa.
Bob Marley loved Ethiopia. Bob Marley loved this country so much.
Welcome back, and you are watching ETV News. Ethiopian Ministry of Education has confirmed that the necessary preparations are being made to restart universities in the Tigray region. Following the peace agreement, Executive Director of Public Relations and Communications at the ministry, Amalor Hezkiel, said efforts are being made to restart education in higher education institutions in the region. Hence, first a team of experts and then 5-member management team went to higher education institutions in the region to conduct a damage survey. The delegates stated that they consulted with the officials of Mekelle, Aksum, Adigrat and Raya universities on the conditions to return to work immediately. Amalor also confirmed that the universities have reached an agreement with the Ministry of Education on how they will put the universities back to work in the future. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, Filippo Grandi, reaffirmed his commitment to support the humanitarian response for refugees and internally displaced people in Ethiopia. Collective efforts are needed to achieve long-term solutions, including for those displaced persons due to the impact of climate change.
Concerning the humanitarian part, I would say that what is needed now is, of course, expand as much as possible humanitarian assistance. The needs are very, very big in northern Ethiopia, but as soon as possible, start what I would call recovery program. This is already post-humanitarian. People told me, I want to go back, I need help with rebuilding my house if the house has been damaged or destroyed. I need help with restarting my livelihoods. Most of these people are farmers, so they will need agricultural help, especially at the beginning. People don't want to depend on assistance anymore. They want to be self-sufficient, but for that, resources will be needed.
During his official visit to Ethiopia, the High Commissioner met with President Sahle-Work Zewde and Deputy Prime Minister Dammaqe Mokonnin and other senior government officials. He recognized and thanked the continued hospitality as well as handling of Ethiopia towards refugees. He visited Eritrean refugees relocated to Alam Waj, which is a refugee camp in Amara region, and now over 22,000 refugees settled in the camp.
It's my first visit after the conclusion of the Pretoria Agreement, which at the outset I would like to congratulate the parties on for being a very important step in the re-establishment of peace in northern Ethiopia. I am particularly happy, and I could see it myself in Mekelle, where I went. I was authorized, and grateful for that as well. I was authorized to visit on Monday. On Monday. I could see it by myself that already there are positive consequences of the peace agreement. Much better humanitarian access. As you know, this was a big challenge before. Much better humanitarian access.
The International Organization for Migration, IOM, has opened its Migration Response Center, MRC, in the Valley of Somali region at the Ethiopian-Djibouti border. According to IOM Ethiopia, the Migration Response Center provides life-saving assistance to stranded migrants along the main migratory route in Ethio-Djibouti border. IOM Ethiopia stated that the MRC also provides assistance including accommodation, food, water, non-food items, medical screening, and referral to relevant partners. It also provides life-saving assistance and protection services to returning migrants along the eastern route, IOM Ethiopia added. The center, according to IOM Ethiopia, is EU-IOM joint initiative with the U.S. Department of State, Bureau of Population, Refugees and Migration, Government of Norway. In 2022, IOM assisted over 8,300 migrants at MRC across the country, IOM disclosed.
Welcome to the land of origins. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia is pleased to serve all your travel or banking needs. If you have money from any of these 16 countries, you can convert it to local currency by visiting our nearest branch. Alternatively, our secure Forex ATMs accept cash exchange, or if you prefer using your cards, we've partnered with Visa, MasterCard, and UnionPay so that you can withdraw cash from our local ATMs or make cashless transactions at thousands of local POS partners securely and with confidence. We are linked with more than 700 global banks through our direct SWIFT address, CBE Teta. We also work with 16 international money transfer agents, out of which Tune and WorldRemit enable you to make direct deposits into our savings and current accounts or our popular CBE Burr mobile wallet. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia, the bank you can always rely on.
All 27 European countries are represented by the European Union as the 20th member. Mm-hmm. So I said, why not have the 21st now, the African Union? Because that would bring in immediately 1.4 billion people into the conversation, into representation at the G20, and about $3 trillion of economy.
The involvement and the movement started with the African Union of empowerment of women. It's something that the African Union is taking very seriously. It's something that a lot of African leaders are also taking very seriously.
Time is time for Africa. Africa. This time is time for Africa. Africa.
President Macky Sall of Senegal, who is the chairperson of the African Union, spoke very clearly and vividly calling for Africa's membership as the G20 first country. I think that there's a good chance that this will happen.
Slowly but surely, we are nowhere near where we need to be. But I would say the greatest achievement for now is the AFCFTA.
Welcome back, and you're watching ETV News. On top of multiple factors, unjust global economic order can be cause which spoils the peace and security issues across Africa. Approached by ETV, board chairperson of Inter-Africa Group, Kumalacho Danye, reiterated that the African Union has taken a number of measures to enhance the peace and security issues. Kristani has more on that.
Talking to ETV, board chairperson of the Inter-African Group, Gumelacho Danyi, indicated that because of increasing resistance and challenges of authoritarianism, desired results in bringing smooth democratic transition has not been made in Africa.
There have been quite encouraging cases in the past whereby we saw African countries transiting to more or less established or stable democracies. You can mention the case of Ghana, South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, and the like. However, this democratic transition could not really go at the desired pace because of increasing resistance and challenges of authoritarianism in different parts of Africa, whether you go to West Africa, Central Africa, East Africa, even North Africa, even in the case of relatively advanced African countries in the North as well. We have seen that challenge of autocracy coming up time and again, even in countries where we had previously relatively developed democratic culture, like in Tunisia, for instance. We have seen, dangerous reversals towards authoritarianism.
He also stressed that on top of multiple factors, unjust economic global order can be cause which spoils the peace and security complications across the continent.
In terms of the underlying cause, I think in many cases it could be attributed to poverty on the one hand. On the other hand, it could also be at some level related to the unjust economic order, globally speaking, and the desire by the different actors globally, the powerful actors, to unduly advance their interests at the expense of the African public.
Gumelacho also reiterated that the African Union has taken a number of promising measures to enhance the peace and security issues in the continent.
The AU, as I've said, has taken a number of measures at the normative level. It has taken a number of measures at the institutional level in terms of trying to provide a more robust kind of institutional infrastructure, as I've said, the different networks. Not just those particularly working on peace and security, but also on larger governance, like the African governance architecture, for instance. And then in the long term as well, AU has also believed that regional integration, economic and social, political integration as well, will contribute towards ensuring sustainable peace and security. So you could see the African Free and Common Market Trade Agreement, AfCFTA, in that angle as well.
He further added that following the signed peace agreement between the federal government of Ethiopia and TPLF, the AU has been quite fruitful when it comes to bringing lasting peace in the northern parts of Ethiopia.
There are instances where the peace efforts led by the African Union have become quite fruitful. You can take the case of Ethiopia, for instance. The AU-led peace initiative has shown remarkable results. Basically, especially the sober and wise kind of approach taken by the African Union in terms of handling the conflict in Ethiopia has clearly generated quite useful results, which could be lessons for other conflicts as well.
The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO, reaffirmed that it will continue its support to Ethiopia's agriculture sector. Minister of Agriculture Girma Amante discussed today with country representative of FAO Ethiopia, Faraya Zumudzi. During the discussion, the two dignitaries have reached an agreement to continue working in cooperation on mutual issues. In this meeting with the UN official, the agriculture minister appreciated FAO's commitment to support the Ethiopian agriculture sector, indicating the issue that requires support from partners. Faria Zemudzi, for her part, reaffirmed that her organization will continue to strengthen its cooperation with the Ethiopian Ministry of Agriculture to support the sector. The UN official also further reaffirmed FAO's determination to work with the ministry, especially in relation to climate change, crop and animal development. Minister of Women and Social Affairs Ergoge Tesfaye held discussion with World Bank delegation led by Robert S. Chase, Practice Manager of Social Protection and Job Africa region. On the discussion, the minister appreciated the long-standing relationship between Ethiopia and the World Bank and urged the delegates to make it stronger. The discussion was focused on how to work on the joint activities such as urban and rural destitute support, extending psychosocial support in war-affected areas of Tigray, Amhara and Afar, and rehabilitating returnees. Robert S. Chezo, on his part, expressed the readiness of the World Bank in supporting efforts to empower women and girls. The two sides further underscored the need to cement collaboration to crucial social problems in war-affected areas of Ethiopia.
Welcome to the land of origins. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia is pleased to serve all your traveler banking needs. If you have money from any of these 16 countries, you can convert it to local currency by visiting our nearest branch. Alternatively, our secure Forex ATMs accept cash exchange, or if you prefer using your cards, we've partnered with Visa, MasterCard, and UnionPay so that you can withdraw cash from our local ATMs or make cashless transactions at thousands of local POS partners securely and with confidence. We are linked with more than 700 global banks through our direct SWIFT address, CBE Teta. We also work with 16 international money transfer agents, out of which Tune and World Remit enable you to make direct deposits into our savings and current accounts or our popular CBE Burr mobile wallet. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia, the bank you can always rely on.
Boulevard here, Liberation Avenue. Even though the Italians have been out for 45 years now, it's unbelievable how well preserved their influence remains. The colonial architecture brings me right back to Florence or Milano. When you see that building behind me, you really think you're in Europe.
كل طور حتى في عملنا ساهم كني
Benvenuti in Eritrea. As an Italian, what do you think about Asmara?
Yeah, it looks really, really Italian. I had the best spaghetti and pizza that I ever had outside Italy.
Wait a second. Italy in Africa?
Welcome back, and you are watching ETV News. Following the devastating earthquake in Turkey, life is complicated and the number of dead people risen rapidly in Turkey. Now, aid agencies are warning that time is running out to rescue people in Turkey and Syria who are trapped in the rubble of buildings that were destroyed by Monday's powerful earthquakes. The number of dead has risen to more than 8,300 in southeastern Turkey. Of hard and painful days, and not everyone gets to experience hope. This powerful earthquake has claimed thousands of lives in Marash. It has taken the heart of the city too. The destruction is vast and it was completely devastating, and the weather is hard. 9 or 10 buildings now just melded together into a huge pile of twisted metal and broken glass. Over now to a quick reminder of the headlines. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and his delegation are back to Addis. Unjust economic order in the globe spoils the peace and security issues in Africa.